have you join us this morning, Chief. Good morning to you, and welcome to the platform.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Happy Independence, if I may say so. Happy Independence.
All right, if you may say so. Looking at the dailies today, and of course the editorial across major dailies in Nigeria, it's on the negative. Of course, the opinion, of course, shaped by the editorial board of some of the major newspapers across the country. It's on the negative, saying we don't have much to celebrate. I don't know if you hold such opinion also.
I think I'm sad. I'm one of those Nigerians that thinks that at this period we should not be telling ourselves the truth, not because we hate Nigeria or Nigerians. It's just that until a disease is identified, solution is not in sight. I am one of those that believe that where we are today with what we see, I'm a community person and a grassroots person. What I see today in Nigeria, 61 years after independence, it pains my heart. In my private moments, I cry. Nigerians like to act fake statesmen. I have heard the president this morning talking about, he said, our gradual progress is being misconstrued for stagnation. And I felt sorry. Because if ours were to be a case of a nation that run on statistics, a nation where compassion has not deserted, we should be crying for ourselves. Because they are Israel in a desert nation. I wish you see the pictures of Israel. A nation that was subjugated. A nation that was just killed anyhow. A nation that was dispersed abroad and then created in 1948. Between 1948 and the early 50s, an arid region full of hills, difficult topography, looks today, before 1955, Israel began to look far better than Europe. If you have gone there, a desert area, and you are given a choice to stay in Israel or in Europe, you will have a choice. Your first choice may be Israel. That is a testament that any society that is serious, that is desirous, that is committed, that has mission, that has vision, that will produce passion, can be transformed in less than 30 years.
So,
then you are talking.
Are you saying it is wrong to use the word celebration in reference to marking the 61st independence anniversary of the country?
Do you celebrate backwardness? Do you want to celebrate deaths that are happening? Even the late Akunyele that was killed in one of his 70th anniversary speeches I heard, he said he's a doctor and that he's crying that the Nigerians can no longer afford cost of treatment. Is that what you want to celebrate? A knack for mediocrity? Shouldn't we be ashamed that even the president told you, he said this is a subdued. I listened to him last night and this morning. And he said this is a subdued celebration. What is subdued? It means you are not even on the path. Talk more or less.
We've talked so much about, if you check across board, television stations, radio stations across board in the country, they've been talking about the country. And of course, it looks like your analysis this morning is not different from what some of those analysts have said. In fact, on the dailies today. So one will be asking, is the problem in our diversity? We have more than 250 ethnic nationalities in the country. Is it not something to be of an advantage to the country? And despite that, we're having a lot of issues which you highlighted, and of course, it seems you are not so happy with that this morning.
Our problem is not in any diversity. Diversity anywhere, properly managed, putting under a progressive stratagem, should be a positive attribute. That you are diverse comes with different qualities. What has happened is that Nigeria has failed from beginning to do what it ought to do. I am not part of those who say the indices were growing at independence. I am not part of it. That was certainly a path to forced growth. Why would I say so? Every good nation, check every independent nation that managed to make it. Brazil, that were in the same league with us, a bit of Malaysia that were even coming here, you will see that they had to go back after independence or at a point in their development trajectory to do what was necessary, reject what they inherited, and then peculiarize the instruments of development. So what is missing? It's not even quality, poor quality leadership per se. What is missing is that the structure for the new Nigeria, for the dream Nigeria that we want, is not in place. It is not in place. It is time. Let me tell you this. It doesn't matter who is playing. If this structure is good, it will flow. A Trump can come, but in the American system, he will flow. He will do things because the structures are there. And that is why I think that if you want me to go into the area of this, because I'm ashamed that in 60 years, everyone talking is still talking about unity. Look at hypocrisy everywhere because they don't know what to do. He said the man knows the city, but he doesn't know the way to go. He can weary everybody.
Okay. Chief Raf Egbu, it looks like every sector of the national life has suffered from governance to economy, security, and national cohesion. Is it that there has never been a time that Nigeria has enjoyed good governance, enjoyed good economy, security, looking at the past, what happened right from 1960 down to the early 70s, even the late 80s, because the story seems different from what we have now. You spoke about, I'm only taking that from the fact that you spoke about new Nigeria not in place.
Yes.
If you say new Nigeria not in place, it looks like we had it good in the past.
No, for me, for those of us with critical mind, we shouldn't celebrate that era too much. The truth is that we inherited some modicum of sanity and sanitized process from the departing colonial masters. That is the truth. We inherited some degree. There were no institutions. They brought some institutions that have standards. They brought some infrastructure within a short time that they managed Nigeria under colonialism. They could do well. They knew. That is where I'm coming. Because you are talking cohesion. You want unity that is non-negotiable. There must be pillars of justice, pillars of self-actualization. There must be a vision. What is the ideology that is governing Nigeria? Do you have a constitution? Yes, there was in the early 60s, before the 1963 constitution that appears acceptable, there was a bit of dialogue. But after that, there should have been another dialogue that should give us a people constitution. Do you have it? You are calling on patriotism. Patriotism does not drop from heaven. Patriotism is a reward for what the state can do and what it stands in the life of the people. And Americans had to use their special forces to come to a part of northern Nigeria, flying their planes and soldiers just for the sake of one person. That is wow. Now tell me how that person would not die for Nigeria. The wise taught us. Now in less than 5 years they could do a rail. They decided they needed to do a rail from the port, Port Harcourt to Maiduguri, Port Harcourt to Kano, Lagos to Kaduna, then Kano. Now, more than 68 years after, we are still talking about those routes, nothing else. You can't link Umuahia to Mbausi. You can't link Umuahia to Ohafia. You can't link Umuahia to Omunnochi. And yet we have had resources. Even the kind of literary education we inherited. The colonialists gave us some standard. If you read standard 6 in the olden days, you can do better than a graduate of today. But what have we done with it? We bastardized it. There were justice systems, and we have bastardized it. So I'm not celebrating those areas because we inherited a little level of sanity. But progressively, because we couldn't rejig our foundation, we couldn't sit down and then ask, do we want to stay together? You are talking about old empires. Igbos, for instance, very Republican. So we will sit and say, yes, we are ready to subject ourselves to the experiment called Nigeria, and then we move. And from there, we begin. So there are many things we are missing. We never sat down to reject Nigeria, and I'm saying we must sit down. If you ask me, if you want, I don't know where we are. I will say my solutions are, because we are suffering.
Okay, just before we get to the solution,
quality of life is going down.
We will get to the solution part of our conversation this morning. In case you just joined us, it is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions on Flow 94.9 FM. This is the Flow of God's own state. And of course, this program runs every Monday, every Wednesday, and also every Friday. We take topical issues and we dissect them with our panelists right here on this platform, part of our morning show on the Flow of God's own state. And this morning is a special one, special edition of the platform, as we're looking at the journey into nationhood and the united country, Nigeria. Of course, looking at the celebration today, the 61st independence anniversary. We've been speaking with the former secretary to Abia State government, a public affairs analyst, a columnist, and of course a journalist, Chief Egbu. And we've been looking at some of those issues where he spoke about a disease not identified. Then that's where the problem, because if you want to find a solution, he spoke about the disease should be identified, and of course how we inherited a little level of sanity from the past. Now let's continue the conversation this morning, Chief Egbu. You spoke about the structure for a new Nigeria not in place. I'm so much interested in that. A structure for a new Nigeria not in place. We've survived coups, we've survived violent elections, we've survived civil war, we've survived military rule, and now we've not been really. Is it that we've not really learned from the lessons from the past, so to speak? The politicians are so much interested in what will happen in the nearest future, but they put at the back of their mind where they are coming from. I'm talking about the religion divide across nationalities, of course, ethnic divide. Now it looks like that has been the basis of the conversation, and which might not really speak well for a united Nigeria. How can we find a way forward beyond that?
You can't ask a blind man on Egbu to go to Lagos and he will get there. He will miss right from his doorstep. Are you hearing me?
I'm getting you.
Lawyers say you can't put something on nothing. It will not stand. These are natural. You don't need to go places. I am saying that in the issue, we like to do what I call endpoint reaction. Living substance always to chase shadow. When you talk, you say things are not working. Quality leadership. Quality leadership is a product of the society itself. The Nigerian society is unorganized. It has never been organized in spite of our nasty experiences of pre-civil war activities, when some reckless people rose up to begin to kill, then that ultimately culminated in a civil war. We have not learned. I'm not blaming the political class. The society has all this responsibility to sit down and agree on certain things and then carve out a vision. You must carve out a vision. You must carve out an ideology. Ideologies will make people know why they are running for what. You can't tell people to just start a race and you don't define it, whether it's 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters. Then it will be a race in futility. You determine the race and then you determine the qualification criteria. So, one, whether you like it or not, Nigeria must sit down. Every indices we see, you can see what is happening because it's an unplanned entity. You say you recruit 20,000 policemen a year. It's no solution. The Nigerian police you have there should be an elite force. You don't have an elite force. So human rights are suffering. Bribery and whatever is happening. So you are recruiting more people into gutter, into nastiness. It will not work. So what will work first is that there is need to sit down and renegotiate a new Nigeria. Let all of us buy in. If everybody, some people say we have the population, I said that is useless talk. If you have preponderance of Hausa people, and you have a sprinkle of Igbo people and they refuse to follow you, that entity will work. It's like everybody pissing out and one man pissing in. It will corrupt the environment. So Nigeria must sit down Today, not tomorrow. Those dodging it will come back to it. We must renegotiate Nigeria. We must. A national conference acceptable to everybody is imperative. Extremely very imperative. It's not enough shouting insecurity. If you like, let your police be 1 million or 2 million. It will not solve it because the population is bouillioning. It's not just about ethnic and religion. Population is growing. You must sit down scientifically to say, how do you cater for this population? Is it by regional autonomy that will make up?
It looks like you're calling for another confab, Chief, this morning. We've sat down. We've spoken about some of these issues raised this morning. We've sat down. That was during Jonathan's administration, and nothing came out from that confab. Are you calling for another confab?
That is the answer and position of those who don't want Nigeria to move or the new Nigeria to emerge. Every confab that has been called has been stalled by a particular section. They're not. You call Abacha called, they said they won't come. Obasanjo called, they said they won't come. Jonathan called, they said they didn't send their men. Therefore, it's not binding. If you say it didn't work, let us sit down and ask ourselves, is it desirable? If you ask yourself the question today, whether it is desirable, you will get the answer. Look at Chike Akunyili, a big asset to this nation. Apart from the wife, a great family, killed inside a street in a major town, and Nigerian citizens were filming. He was shot, trying to get up. Yet somebody was laughing and then filming and saying, oh, he's trying to. We have lost our humanity. We have lost our humanity. I don't know how much you can trick. Can you stroll 500 meters? You, because you're a popular person. Many politically exposed person, many publicly exposed person can't move 500 years in this country again. So it is bad. It's not enough to say we have had. It didn't produce. Now let's say, is it desirable? Yes. Let's see the structure. Rework the political architecture. Rework the vision. See how we can bring science and technology. How can we make our economy productive? It's very important.
Okay, Chief.
Even the creation of the new Nigeria is very important.
It looks like we've focused our attention so much on the national government. Now, I'm talking about the federal government, forgetting the subnational, the states, and the local government. I'm going to quote from the president's speech, the last paragraph this morning. But critics misdiagnose incremental progress as stagnation. Since coming to power, this administration has tackled our problem head-on in spite of the little resources. No government since 1999 has done what we have done in 6 years, but to put Nigeria back on track. Now, looking at that statement, what has been said by the presidential spokesperson, Femi Adesina, that we forget so much how far we've gone, and we center our criticism so much on the national government that we forget the failure of the subnationals. Looking at the states, they've been given allocation. There is no month that the federal government stopped allocation or says we are not going to give you allocation. And despite that, the damages from this political class, so to say, has trickled down right from the national down to the subnational, even the local government. They are complaining.
Let's go straight. So, don't bother. Let me just help you. Let's not bother ourselves. This issue of, you see why I said don't bother ourselves? We like to clutch. It's like a drowning man. If he sees paper, he will try to hold on it, not knowing that he cannot offer help. I have resisted. I have refused to be drowned, taken into this vain argument. Okay, state. Okay, local government. Now the relationship between state and local government is also an aberration. You called a state and then created local governments and gave them autonomy, and then you created a joint account between local government and the states. Why were you creating a joint account? For what purpose? So that is what I'm saying, that the bottom line is not about trying to shift blame. Yes. The general malice of lack of structure will affect every facet of life. And that's what I'm saying, that it is time to see and then look, we'll take another look. Structure will be it. Ideology for this nation will be it. How do you produce the Nigerian citizen? Because it's even not enough whether you give local government the money and you put them under a state governor. He takes his cronies, make them run a sham election. They go there and the money will still be going. Because the ideal Nigerian is not there. It's not there. So when we begin to plug on just small things to avoid real issues that can galvanize development, I'm not part of it. If we want to do, let's sit down and then we look at what kind of local government do we want. Do we want autonomy for them? Then we say, okay, who conducts the election? At least our experience have shown, and it shows the kind of Nigerians. In every state, you conduct election, the ruling party will win 100%. Where will it ever happen? Talk less of rural. So those are the reasons you see. And in light of that, we look at what should be. What are we running? What are we running? Federal, is it not Federal Republic of Nigeria? Why no nation builds on sentiment? You build on substance.
Okay.
Now some people are saying, be your brother's keeper. We are talking VAT. He said, VAT is a consumption tax. And somebody said there will be more. How will it be multiple taxation? If they are selling in your state and your people are buying, why not? Some people, some part of this Nigeria consume electricity without paying. And others are paying high bills. The Igbo areas are paying. Now, instead of the Igbo areas or other areas that are active, reconstructing and constructing and putting out the money to benefit, now you say it must be collected by federal, and suddenly it becomes ethnic. And see, no nation grows by settlement.
All right.
No nation.
All right.
So if we want progress, we must sit down and do the needful, craft the vision. Then we must create Nigeria. In Nigeria, you create citizens. The kind of citizens we have today is not what we had at independence. We have people who feared for their names. We have people who believe that a good name is better than every kind of wealth. But today, no matter how they give you appointment, we all begin to dance. Dance, is it because you are going to suffer? Public office is going to suffer on behalf of the rest. But we celebrate because we say, okay, it is the turn. It shouldn't be so. It is time to run a merit-driven system. Let the best be employed. Let the best be challenged. Let the universities be challenged. Why are our arguments not over program? The quality of education,
right.
Number of children unable to pay. That should be the issue. You have a population, you are talking of insecurity, you are crying, and you say police is not the best. There's nothing police can. Your streets are not properly marked. You don't have food security. You are importing fuel for a nation blessed with crude oil. You can't produce fuel. Is that what you are saying? You can't manufacture beans.
All right, Chief.
As simple as this.
Okay.
So we must sit down and say which kind of nation and what are the process, and then we allow our best friends. Our boys go abroad and excel.
All right, Chief.
If they go abroad, if Biafra here could refine fuel, why can't you? If people in my Niger Delta backyard who didn't read chemistry can refine fuel, what is holding us 61 years after independence? So if you must create abundance, you must create an economy. And it wouldn't come cheap. You must sit down.
All right. Creating an abundance.
And then bring a constitution where we begin to talk citizenship, not indigenship.
I want to really appreciate you this morning, Chief Rafi. We've been able to pick some solutions from from your analysis this morning. Merit-driven system to be run, orientation of the citizens, and confab. Also, you said we should sit down and discuss a new structure for a new Nigeria that should be in place, and also orientation of creating abundance for a good economy. Thank you very much. We do appreciate you for your time this morning, Chief Rafi.
Thank you, my listeners. Thank you, Mike. God bless you.